What's up, everybody? Welcome to a vlog. So this is a very interesting vlog for me and maybe for you, because today I will be sharing with you my experience about falling sick and how to overcome it and how I went about it. I was sick with the flu I fell sick kind of sick on Sunday, and then on Monday it kind of went full blown, and then sick all the way till about Thursday, and then Friday I worked out properly, Saturday did interval run, and then Sunday is where we are right now. So I have some time before church, and I want to share with you about my process through being on a deficit during this entire training block, and then how I had to revert and change the course of how I approach that deficit and the cut to maybe eat at maintenance instead. And I'm going to share with you why I did it. I'm going to share with you how I feel about it and whether or not I feel I am behind schedule when it comes to my goal. So the goal is to get to about 10% body fat. That was the goal that I set back about 6 weeks ago. I started this journey at about 69 kilograms, 69.5 kilograms actually, and then I dropped all the way down to about 66.4. 66.4, so I dropped a bunch of weight. A lot of it was water at first, and then slowly became fat. And then, like I mentioned, I fell sick. So how I fell sick, well, my nephew is a little toddler, and he is he's a bundle of joy. But I thought I was stronger than I actually was, and turns out that I was not. And so I fell sick. I got the flu from him. Anyway, I got the flu, and I wanted to figure out how to go about my training program. Was it to go on a deficit, continue that deficit? Was it to eat at a surplus? If you had any of these questions for yourself, maybe this video is for you, because for me, in the past, I would always undereat when I'm sick, and being sick sucks, and I'm the type of person who always undereats in general. So that's why counting calories is super important for me. And so because I was on a deficit, I was very strategic on how I was going to lose weight. I was trying to lose weight at about maybe 300 grams a week to about 250 and most 400 grams a week. But so okay, I was on schedule, and it turned out to be great. But then again, I got hit with the flu. And so anyway, long story short, this video is about how I approach my meals. This video is about how I approach the deficit, how I approach the training, the philosophy behind it. And if I had this information in the past, I felt like I would have been very, very successful. But this was the first time I actually did something like this, and I just have to share this with you because it is so important. Because hey, if I had this information, I would have saved myself a lot of time. So maybe I'll save you some time. Fingers crossed. What's up? Okay, so I am here to break down the video. The first things first is you have to approach life with a goal. Otherwise, there is no direction in it. You need to wake up with some sense of purpose, and you need to have some sense of direction that you're moving towards in life. If you don't have that, in my opinion, you're not really living life. And so for me, I was working towards a few goals. Personally, my fitness goal is to do high rocks, finish the 10K race, 5K race, and also become lean. I want to be the healthiest and strongest version of myself, become lean, but caveat is to have high testosterone while being lean. And so I have went on a official cut properly last year for the very first time, and I did that in a very, very unsustainable way. So I'm the kind of person who has a lot of discipline when it comes to food. I can eat very, very bland food, and the bland food that I would eat is, to what some people might say, is just fucking crazy. But for me, I kind of eat for purpose rather than I eat for joy. And so to me, eating the same meal every single day, even if it was very bland, it was possible. And because I did that, I end up eating like maybe 12 to 1400 calories every single day. And I dropped from 68 kilos last year all the way to 62 kilos last year. And that was a total of 6 kilos. And I did that in the course of, it was May all the way to December. So June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So 7 months. So about a kilo plus a month. And so a little bit less than a kilo a month. So on paper, it sounds correct, but my approach was very, very bad. I was under eating. I was not eating enough carbs, and I also was doing a lot of activity and did not sleep very well. I suffered for it, right? I did a blood work check after my cut. I shrank down, but I didn't retain my muscle. I became a sucked up version of myself. Yeah, I had like abs in the right light, but it was not, I didn't look sharp, you know, I didn't look in my peak. I lost a lot of strength, and I felt very bad from it, to say the least. And so I took the lessons from that, and I wanted to try to enter this next cut, which I just started about a month ago, and officially in October. I wanted to make sure I did everything very strategically this time, and make sure that I did not make the same mistakes I did the first time. And so this is the video I hope to share with you, that maybe you can learn from my experience, and so that you don't make this mistake in your own personal life. Basically, this time around, oh well, before I talk about that, so I did a blood check after the end of that first cut, and I was at a very, very low testosterone, so much to the point where the doctor that I did the blood test with, he was like, you know what, I think you should check your testicles and see, like, why is your body producing so little testosterone. I'm like, shit, what the fuck? And he gave me this diagnosis of what the hell was it called, some vasoconstriction in my testicles, and he was like, we gotta operate on this. I'm like, no way, I gotta operate on my testicles to get more testosterone. Something is wrong. So I was like, you know what, let's just try all the remedies I can possibly take naturally before doing any sort of surgery. So I really did a deep dive into boosting my testosterone. So I did like an ice bath every single day. I showered in cold water only. I trained with heavy strength training. I put myself in a very competitive environment. All the things that would textbook improve your testosterone. And months later, I did it again, and I went up normal levels, and I went up to like 17 nanograms per liter. I think that ends up to be like 400 plus nanograms per deciliter. So very low still in general, but it improved naturally. Anyway, right now I want to make sure that my testosterone stays as high as possible, right? As high as possible throughout the entire course. So that means that the perception of having high testosterone is, one, making sure that you can maintain your erections. Two is having motivation. And three, not super dry skin. means that you have enough fat in your diet. So this time around, I was very strategic with my diet. I'm very strict on it. So I know my calories that I need to take in a day. I know the carbs that I need to take in a day, the protein I need to hit in a day, and fat that I hit in a day. Okay, those numbers for me is in case you're curious, for me, for pure protein is about 120 to 150 grams. For carbs is about 210 to 260 grams of carbs. Fats is 68 grams to about 75 grams of carbs. I started off maintaining my calories at 2,400 and I went on a deficit at 2,000 calories at the beginning of the cut. And then eventually I worked down to 1,800. And then, of course, I fell sick. So what I did when I fell sick is something that I would never do if I did it the old way. And so this time around, I tried to do something different. What I did was I ate at maintenance calories. Now, again, I'm the type of person who always undereats. And so what I decided to do is force myself to eat at maintenance. Technically, maintenance is maintenance. I'm not supposed to put on weight. So I'd rather have a week where I stay plateaued at a particular weight rather than put on weight or lose weight. So rather have that 1 week of just resetting the nervous system, resetting the weight, eating at maintenance, and then letting my body fight the war inside it and then continue the deficit after. And so what I did was that, and it felt so good. Okay, so I forced myself to eat. I forced myself to eat the calories even though I was not hungry. I even ate the carbs. I was sleeping. I was doing like 800 steps a day and I was still eating 2,200 calories. That was my maintenance calories. And I was full. But I stuffed myself because I know that if you eat enough food, your body has the resources, it has the necessary resources to fight the infection in your body. Because for me, I had the flu. I had a viral infection or a bacterial infection. Bacterial infection probably in the nose, viral infection in the lungs. And I really needed those nutrients. Now, again, my tendency is to go into a sleeping, hibernating mode where I just have like 1-2 meals and then I'm good for the day. But I fought that. I fought that hard. And what I did was I ate at maintenance, regardless of what I did, step count, and I rested. I tell you, I felt full. I didn't get fat. I didn't lose weight even more. Even though my body was fighting that infection, my muscles felt very full. The bellies and everything. Very full. Glycogen stored up. Grip strength strong. And so that was amazing. Another thing is reintroducing myself to training. So I was doing some research on how athletes reintroduce training after a period of being sick. And there's this time period where they go through. It's a kind of a neural priming session. Okay, and this neural priming session, what it does is that it primes your nervous system to take on the load it was used to. So instead of shocking the body, like what I feel like I would have done if I didn't do any research, this is what I would have done. I would have just stayed sick, undereat, rest enough until I feel okay, and then try to smash a workout. If I had done that, I guarantee you I would have lost strength because one, I was undereating for so many days, and two, my nervous system was not used to it because one, it was fighting, my autonomic nervous system was fighting an infection, plus it has to get back to the demands that I was before. Oh my gosh, I would have went back like 4 steps. And so what I did was that priming. What I did different this time was, one, I ate at maintenance, so there was enough nutrients to feed my body. 2, I did that priming session. And how you do that, how you execute that priming session was, at least how I did it was, I literally did half the amount of weight that I would do. Okay, I did half the amount of weight that I would do in a normal session, and I performed everything at an RPE of 70% of my max. So weights were cut in half, RPE 7, super easy, right? And then the very next day, I did the full workout. Same weights, that means same intensity, but different RPE. Usually I train at an RPE of 7 or, excuse me, a RPE of 8 or 9, especially when it comes to a cut. I really gotta make sure that my body's fighting for strength, RPE 8 or 9. But I cut it down to RPE 7, maybe even 6. But I carried the same weight. That means no strength was lost. My muscles felt full. My body still looks sharp. I'm on track to be where I needed to be to lose weight. And so that right there is so good. Okay, now that was one part of the equation, and another part of the equation I want to share with you is how I went about this. So I use a Whoop band, right? And I'm a big proponent of wearables and how it can help you mainly for sleep. We mainly get data for sleep. You want to know how much REM sleep you have, how much deep sleep you have. That is inherently going to give you enough information on whether or not you're living a balanced life. Whether or not you're having enough sleep, enough consistency in your life, very important. And the Whoop metrics will do that. And the Whoop actually was a very, very important tool during this process. And how it helped me was, there's a sheet, right? And the sheet will show you your respiratory rate, your resting heart rate, your HRV, your heart rate variability, and it'll tell you you're normal, and it'll tell you where you're at when you're sick. And so you know something is off objectively, not about subjectively. Objectively, this is what's wrong. This is the data that they have. You're sick, bro. Do something about it. And I looked at that, and I keyed it into ChatGPT and like, yo, what should I do? I'm sick right now. This is the training program that I have, right? I want to eat at maintenance. I want to make sure that I am not losing track with what I'm doing. How can you suggest I go about taking a rest day, approaching training again? And to me, this worked like a charm. Priming day to prime your nervous system, attack the workout, but at RPE 7. And then the next, a day later, rest. It's clearing out right now. Had a day of rest, and then Sunday I did interval training. The interval training was really great because I knew that I was getting by, and I knew that I wasn't performing well. I had training partners, and funny story. So I was in national service, and 10 years ago, and when I was a firefighter, when we had trainings with our full gear and everything, people would fall out and be like, hey, I can't continue training anymore, and they'll faint. And so what the drill instructors and teammates would do, would just pull them under a shower, literally just fucking drench them in water until they wake up and gain consciousness again, and we'll just like tap them, be like, bro, you good? So yeah, I'm good. And I'm like, all right, cool, now wake the fuck up, back to training. And so I kind of brought that same mentality when I did the intervals. We were supposed to do 26 sets of 300-meter intervals with 45 seconds break in between. I was gonna fall out for a lot of those sets, and I did not fall out more than 4 because I used the same mentality. As I dragged myself under a shower, I saw my heart rate was like 180 plus, poured myself with water until my heart rate went down, and be like, okay, can't let these training partners down, let's just get back going. And so I did that to manage my heart rate and manage my training, and so I didn't push it to 100%. And basically what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to you being sick, you are in a position to save whatever you have. Whatever progress that you have towards a goal, whether it's to increase performance or sharpen up and get lean, you don't have to regress when you're sick. You don't, okay? This is the secret. The secret is to eat at maintenance. Eat at maintenance, have this priming day where you prime your nervous system to reintroduce the stress again. And last but not least, train at 90%. Okay, train at 90%. After that, get enough rest till you're fully recovered, and then pick up exactly where you left off. It's going to be so difficult for some people. For me, it was so difficult to maintain the food, but I had to do it. All right, it's getting late. I should probably end this video. I hope this video brings you value. It's so important to me that I share this with you because this is real. I actually don't feel behind. Hyrox is this Sunday. I was supposed to lose weight, but I'm gonna eat maintenance this entire week. As planned, eat enough carbohydrates, hydrate enough, and sleep. I am on track to perform my peak condition at Hyrox, not losing any strength, muscles still feeling full, and then after that, I'll get back onto that deficit. Stay tuned to 10% body fat, baby. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.